Hey, hello viewers, and welcome to the Friday edition of Eve NT TV. My name is Tiberius StarGazer. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Eve NT website and kind of responsible for a lot of the content that's gone on there. And welcome to the second installment of my Friday show. I'm joined with my very good Eve friend and, I don't know, brother from another mother, the man that shares the same name, General Stargazer. Hi, General. Introduce yourself to the audience. Go ahead and introduce yourself, General.
Hello, how are we doing?
Pretty good. It's a miserable old English day out there, that's for sure. Tell the boys and girls in the audience what it is that you do in game and what you're most well known for.
Well, I play Ave Online. Funny enough, that's what this is all about.
Get out of town.
I'm in GMVA, which is Valor Accords. We're part of the Galente militia in Losec. Primarily, however, these days I'm focused more on actually playing Valkyrie.
Fantastic. How long have you been playing Valkyrie for now?
So the game actually launched at the end of March. I ordered my Rift back in January. It arrived the day before FanFest, and I've been playing basically since coming back from FanFest. So what's that? 2 months now?
Fantastic stuff. And you got your shiny new Oculus Rift, of which
Yes.
I'm not jealous at all of. Wow. I'm like, oh. But so what have we got for you today? We've got a few bits and pieces. I'm going to refer to my notes, also known as my phone, as in the text message that I sent to General earlier today, because I decided to make up the show on the spot. We have a little bit on today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Eve Meetups that are coming up over the next week. Then we were going to talk about a bit about the schedule for Eve NT TV for this weekend over the next week. So what shows you can expect from us and what other bits and pieces will be going on. Then we will take a quick break for a video. I'll be showing you a video from my good friend Reloaded. He's been making a quick series of new videos just to highlight some particular types of ships, and this week is the Incursus, so I'm going to show you that one. It's one of my favourites. Then once we've done that, we're going to talk a bit about some EVE Online news, because holy cow, so many things coming out onto the test server at the moment, and EVE Updates has just been flooded with new stuff, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Once we've done that, we'll take another quick little break, and I'll show you a new video, and we'll then talk a little bit about General's favourite subject, which is, of course, Valkyrie. And because I'm really bad, I totally forgot to queue up a video for that one, but I'm sure we can sort a video out for another time. After that, we'll wrap up the show and we'll get Friday started. But of course, you can't get Friday started without your beers. I hope you've all got your beers ready in hand. But before we crack on with the show, I'm going to quickly cut to a project that one very well-known EVE player has been working on. His name is Tamba. He was a member of CSM 2 and 3, I believe. If you might be able to correct me on that one if I'm wrong, General.
I don't know. I think it is, yes.
Yes, so
I know he certainly ran for it. I don't know when he got on.
I think he got on for 2 of the early CSMs. He doesn't actually play EVE anymore, but he still loves the spaceships, and he's been working on, for a long time, a system called Jeremy, which a lot of artists currently use to import EVE ship models from in-game onto this tool, which allows them to manipulate them, mess around with them, put different skins on them, put weapons on them, put them in different backgrounds, things like that, so they can use them for their own projects. We at EVNT are looking to help raise some funds for that project so we can get the development finished and ship it out to everybody else. So I'm going to show you a quick video for that, and we will be back in a few minutes. Apparently, I'm also really bad at unmuting myself again. I must really stop doing this. But anyway, to rewind a few seconds, we actually do have a fundraiser up and open for that. We're trying to help Tamba finish off that project, get it all done. Because I'm a bad person, not only unmuting myself, but also by not delivering the articles that I promised. There will be an article on EVNT at some point this week, which will allow you to have a look at that and support that project. It's fantastic. A lot of really well-known EVE artists use it to render the models, ship models that they need, and put them into their own bits of work. People such as Naiden and Rix Javix use it quite a lot as well, so check that out. So we're going to move on to this weekend's meets, and there's a couple of meets coming up. Although Push has decided not to work in-game anymore. Why is this?
Just to throw you off.
I know, just to completely screw me over. Hang on one sec. Panicking!
So yes, like weather, there will be meets.
Meets?
There'll be meets everywhere.
That sounds like far worse than it should do.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it?
Found it!
Raining meets? I don't know.
So there you go. So here we go. So this tomorrow in Toronto, Canada, kicking off. I think they kick off from about early afternoon. Is the Toronto Monthly Meetup. That is at the Amsterdam Brew House, which is a really, really cool looking building. If I ever go to Canada and I'm in around that time, I really, really want to check out that building because it is literally a microbrewery in a building. You can go there, you can see all the brewery working away. One of the people on the EVNT Slack, Tim, runs it. So that's fantastic. If you run it every month, so check it out. It's a really, really good place. And then we have, not being German, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but we have there's a regular meet that happens in Germany. This is something, I don't know what it is, but it kicks off on the 18th of June, 5 o'clock. If you're in Germany and you're near Constance, I believe that's how to say, go check that meet out. Again, it's a regular meet. They have their own website. The details are all up on the EVE Meet. And finally, another great meet. This is at the Docklands in Sydney, I believe. The Docklands, Australia. I'm just going to double check that one. Beep, 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 beep. Because
Baden-Württemberg.
I'm glad your German is like a lot better than mine. Clearly, it's a lot better than mine. Yes, that's so. The Woolshed Pub meet in Australia is in Sydney. It's off the Docklands, not far from the Etihad Stadium that you got there. It's another regular Australian EVE meet. If you don't get a chance to go down there, I highly recommend it. It's also a very excellent meet that's run on a regular basis, so that should be a good turnout for that one. And Reloaded also, not Reloaded, but Teridian also poked me last-second.com, so I'm just even less unprepared for normal to promote the EVE Cincinnati meet, which is happening on the 9th of July. Teridian Biohazard, the head of our streaming team, head of our TV department, is responsible for the programming and all the technical stuff that goes on, is going to be at that meet. There may be some giveaways if we can get hold of them, so if he can make it down there, make sure you do as well to get your hand on some EVE NT giveaways, but we'll probably also cover that later on. You can find out more about these meets on evemeet.net, which is a fantastic website run by two amazing guys, Bam Stroker being one of them and Ariel Rin being the other. If you don't know who Bam Stroker is, he's the guy that's responsible for EVE Down Under. He's very, very passionate about organising player meets, and if you ever want to find out where a player meet is or create one, check out evemeet.net. Then we're going to move on to our next topic. Was there anything you wanted to sort of talk about on meets-wise coming up? Because we've just had the Cardiff meet last weekend.
And Glasgow the weekend before.
And the Glasgow weekend before that, and you went to both of them, didn't you?
I did indeed. So it was my first time, well, it was the first Cardiff meet, which was absolutely fantastic. The turnout was absolutely great. There was lots of stuff to give away. Loads of people turned up, as I say. The drink was flowing pretty much until the early hours of the morning. Glasgow, much the same. There was a great turnout again. Really interesting venue, that one, actually. There was there's like ping pong tables and there's like arcade machines. It's a really cool place. But both meets, I'd highly recommend attending if you're in the area in the future.
Yeah, because the Glasgow one's had quite an interesting pub, because when you look at it from the outside, it kind of looks like some 1920s, 1930s Art Deco place. But when you get inside, there's all sort of arcade machines and ping pong tables and all sorts of mad stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's called the Hill Head Book Club. I think it was the Hill House Book Club. Yeah, and it's like it's beyond.
It's not
words.
a book club.
Yeah, there's books inside, you know, but there's like light up moose and all sorts of random things inside.
And Cardiff was the first time that we've held that. That was the first Eve NT meet outside of Eve Nottingham. And I understand we got maybe 40 people to turn up to that one ish.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
That was fantastic. It was a really good turnout for a first meet. A lot of people came from all around the place, including yourself and Nash were there. There were lots of prizes to give out. We had the first runs of the Eve NT t-shirt, which was fantastic stuff. And a good time was had by all, I'd say, right?
Yep. There was amusingly, there was a Rod Stewart concert going on at the same time. And to say that there was one or two Rod Stewart lookalikes going around during the meet was a bit of an understatement. I think Nash even tweeted out a pic of one of the guys he actually pulled aside and managed to get a picture with. He was so amused by it. But when we looked outside the pub and you see like a whole table of just people that look like Rod Stewart, was quite funny.
Good stuff. And so we'll move on to our next topic of discussion, which will be... I believe that is the missus that's come home. But we'll move on to the next topic of discussion, which will be entirely forgotten because I'm so well organised. Upcoming streams on Eve NT. So I'm just going to load up the schedule for that.
Like meat, there will be streams.
That's right.
Sorry.
That means there will be streams. But you also stream for us as well, because you do 2 shows every week on the Monday and Tuesday night, I believe.
Correct. I do what's listed on the schedule as Chronicles of the Valkyrie on Monday, or if I kind of dub it Murderous Mondays, as I take suggestions from chat for ships to fly on Valkyrie, which has kind of landed me in a bit of difficulty a few times, as some of the ships are really specialized and difficult to fly, but I'm always welcome to the challenge. And on Tuesdays, I now run what has been dubbed Tutorial Tuesdays. So the Eve Valkyrie dev team and actually some of the community guys from the Eve side as well have done a real nice job of helping me support the idea of trying to keep new guys in Valkyrie alive as long as possible. So the game is like really, really fun to play. If you get the opportunity to play it, absolutely go for it. But one of the faults, should we say, of the game at the moment is like the team balance or the matchmaking. Like the brackets for people is they go from they're on a separate server basically for the first 5 levels, but then the remaining 45 levels afterwards you could be playing for 1 day and come up against a player that's been playing for 3 months kind of thing. So what I've tried to do is dedicated time on Tuesdays. If anybody wants to come join me on stream or join me in the game, I will basically fly support for them. I'll keep them alive for as long as I can possibly keep them alive. I'll answer any questions that people put into the stream, or again that they ask on Discord. The idea being that they try and learn as much as I've learned playing the game. The other thing that I've started to do now with Tuesdays is if the servers are a bit quiet and there's not a lot of people around, I'll normally pick 3 ships at the start of the night, and I'll do a tutorial on each one of those ships. So, it's a bit of an educational thing as well. And then post-stream, I'll end up editing those videos and, There's a single specialist videos that if people want to learn to fly a particular ship, there's a video there for it up on the Valkyrie forums.
Fantastic stuff. So what I've got on the stream now is the schedule, as you can see, and this is from last week's, but as you can see, the big green blocks there are general slots. As you can see, there are like 6 hours in total for the week, so they're quite hefty old streams, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
But I guess when you're strapped in with a VR headset, they fly by really, really quickly.
Indeed.
So focusing on today, we've got Reloaded a little bit later on this evening at 9 p.m. UTC or EVE time. Again, I think Reloaded is actually in chat, so he might be able to tell us what he is doing. But last week he focused a bit on the Alliance tournaments for last month. You can see the highlights for that on our Twitch stream. He went through all the different bits and pieces while reviewing the old Alliance tournament matches and sort of explain the tactics behind it and the ships and the uses of those ships behind them as well. After that, we have again the fitting master that is Suetonia. If you're wanting to learn some real clever fitting techniques, that is the show that you look at. It kicks off at 11 p.m. today.
Not to mention some of Eve's worst pickup lines, but please continue.
Some of Wave's worst pickup lines, definitely. If you don't follow Suetonia on Twitter, do so, because holy cow, those pickup lines are awful. And then finishing off the night, we got Gigai. I'm not entirely sure if I still pronounce that right. I think I might do. I don't know. Gigai. It is Gigai. Yeah.
Gigai.
Okay. Fine.
Well, you're supposed to say the Japanese kind of twang to it, like Yigai. Apparently
I'm not Japanese, so...
No, that's why everyone just says Gigai.
And he'll be streaming some Valkyrie for a couple of hours as well to finish off the evening. Tomorrow, we've got a new show. We've got Bayard J, who is one of our tournament organisers and tournament commentators. He also develops a lot of the rules with Suetonia. Kicking off the Alliance Tournament training, or talking a bit about Alliance Tournament training. So if you are looking to get involved in this year's Alliance Tournament, that is undoubtedly unmissable viewing. And then I'm going to load up... Nash hasn't quite loaded up the one for next week yet, but it will look very much similar and very the same as what it is this time around. So we're going to take a little break again. I'm going to show you a video. This video was made by Loxy Rider a few years ago, and I believe General knows a lot more about this video than I do, because you know the person that was involved in making this, don't you? Or know about the person that was involved in making this, weren't you?
Do you mean CCP Loxy, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, he actually ended up joining, well, funny enough, with the name CCP Loxy, ended up joining CCP as one of the... So you kind of saw a lot of his videos post the Alliance tournaments. He was the one that made the original This Is Eve series, so This Is Eve 1, 2, and 3. And then obviously we had last year the actual big main trailer come up, which was the massive hit. Yep. So yeah, he's made some phenomenal videos across the years, and hopefully you'll enjoy this one.
Yep, and in fact This is Eve 3. So check this out. We're going to take a quick little break for a few minutes, and we'll be back after this. Making sure I unmute myself this time. So, fantastic video. I love that. It's, as you said, while that was ongoing, we were having a quick talk about it. That was all the Alliance tournament footage for one of the years, all condensed down into 5 minutes of explosions and amazingness. Great stuff. Absolutely love it. But now, to move on the show, we're going to be talking about some of the updates that have been hitting the test server. 18.9? Yeah, 18.9. That was all the test footage for. So we're going to be talking about some of the updates that have hit the test server over the last few days. And there is a lot of them, I've got to admit. First thing you're going to notice when you log into EVE, because we've got the Shadow of the Serpentis event. Is that right? Shadow of the Serpent, I should say.
Shadow of the Serpent, correct.
Event that's going to be coming up. And when you log into EVE, let's see if this link works for me. It does not. Sucks to be me right now. Sucks to be me right now. Where is my browser? I should just leave this thing open. There we go. You should see that panel on the login screen. And so this is a new event. CCP haven't tried this sort of event before, and it seems very much based on where everybody was kind of calling the 10k skill point injection you get undocking and blapping around the daily. This seems like a lot more to do, maybe not daily as such, but it's very much more goal orientated, which a lot of people were asking for. And it seems every time you log in, you get a different set of goals which to complete. But the rewards seem to be about the same. You know, at 5,000, you seem to be getting a Serpentis Thorax variant. What's the Serpentis for, General?
Is it Vigilant?
Vigilant. Looks like you're getting the Vigilant. A Cerebral Accelerator, and there's a Gila there at 30,000 points, right about here. So this is an interesting sort of evolution, I guess, of the dailies. I mean, what do you think of this event that's coming up?
It's pretty. I don't know. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest lover of this type of thing, but you know, it's a way to drive people to a goal, another goal in the game, I guess. It
makes people log in at the end of the day and do things, which, you know, ships in space makes content because somebody's got to go and shoot them at some point, aren't they?
Yes, indeed. You're quite right. If it's making people log in, you know, even if they're logging in, undocking, warping to a belt to kill a rat to get the 10,000 skill points, for example, it's a moment that they're in space and they're exposed, and a fight can happen from it, and things can escalate.
And so I'm interested to see how the feedback plays about. The events are actually live. If I go and close this off, and if I load up my thing, we've got the scope network here, but there's nothing loading up for me. You see, this is preparation. This is amazing preparation right here.
Did you notice it was the scope networks sponsored by the Galente network?
I did.
Galente News Network. That was one of the other interesting things that they mentioned at Fan Festival during one of the actual law panel, is that they're opening up the news channels to the other empires as well, finally. So it's no longer scope news everywhere.
Definitely. It was a very interesting development. Yeah, I mean, some people seem to be able to run them. Unfortunately, I don't seem to be able to run any of them. Unless there's oh, hello. No, wait, there's a button here. What's this? Okay, might have found something. Here we go. Might have found something. I'm exploring this just as we're going, really. So what we got? We got Bane of Angels. I've got to kill 200 pirates. Great Blow to the Angel Cartel will receive word that they're particularly vulnerable in the next 24 hours. Make sure they feel that. Oh, wow. You got to kill 200 pirates in 24 hours?
Line them up. I don't think you'll be belt ratting that many.
Expires in 5 hours, 37 minutes. I don't even have that. Okay.
Crack on.
But I've got to fight at Angel Space. I'm in Saturn. Look.
To be fair, if you can do an incursion at the same time, yeah, you could quite possibly do that.
The assistance. So what's this? Break their will. This assistance is great reward if you can help some Serpentis mobilization points. Okay. Apart from the millions of mobile depots that seem to be on my overview, let's check the probe scanner. Are they in here? No, they're not. Okay, so I'm not going to be doing any of them. In her name, kill 50 drifters.
Sorry.
What? Kill 50 drifters?
We don't even do that many on a drifter high operation.
That's time defense.
That's a good few months worth of drifters.
Are they bringing back drifter incursions?
No, that is a very good point. I mean, like the drifter.
Because that's the only way you can do that, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you can. They're appearing in wormholes, though, aren't they? They're doing drifter events in wormholes.
That is true. You do get some drifter events in wormholes and things.
To be fair, they would have to kind of create events for people in wormholes as well. Otherwise, they don't end up complaining.
Now, the only thing I've got here, right? This event here requires me to go to Angel Space. Not going to happen. Your Serpentis mobilization points. Okay, so clearly that's something that spawns.
Probably a scannable site.
Yeah, it must be. I don't have a scanning ship here, do I? Yeah, we ain't got the time today to try and scan these down. But in her name, drifters, no chance. And disrupt the signal. Well, maybe. Which is it not? What is that? Signal Cartel. That's their.
Indeed.
Yeah, I love those guys so much. Minxie, if you're listening to this or you're watching this afterwards, keep up the good work. You're doing the good stuff. In fact, they tweeted quite recently. If you're not following the Scout. Eve Scout Twitter account, I recommend doing it. They do competitions occasionally where they show a cloaked ship. If you can guess the ship, you usually win a prize. I correctly guessed that this particular ship last night was a Rook. They said, here's a skin, and I was like, give it to one of your newbies, because why not? I mean, I've already got the skin, so give it to someone that wants it. But it looks like these events here, you run them, you gain these points. These kind of look like a bit like AK points from Project Discovery, but not. They have kind of the... What is this logo? Do you know what this logo is?
I will do once it updates on the stream, but just a minute.
It's like this,
it's
this
the
big logo here. Yeah. Oh, that is the Upwell logo. Okay.
Yeah.
So you seem to get some Upwell points of some description, which allows you to claim some of these prizes. So 30,000 prizes to get a Gila. That's quite a lot.
When he didn't have enough currencies, let's make another one.
You know what I think they should do? They should actually do a roll for the events here. So if you have an event that you don't like, you can roll it once to try and find an event that you do like. Because,
to be fair, that's probably why A, you've been given 4 options, and B, it kind of expires after 24 hours.
Very true.
The dailies kind of encourage you to log in, let's say, to kill one rat. These encourage you to log in and play
do something. Which admittedly is... I don't know, is it something that's really been missing from Eve? I mean, it was so much player-driven, but I think...
So, I mean, like, I've been playing a while, and the biggest draw to me in this is, as you know, the community. You come in, you play with friends. Whether you play with friends and you're mining, or whether you're playing with friends and doing some fleet PvP, whatever it is you're doing it with friends. I don't, it's one of the big draws to the game. I don't think it necessarily needed arbitrary goals like this. Okay, granted, it's nice, you could turn around and say to your friends, let's log in and let's do this thing where we have to go kill these 200 guys, but it ends up it reminds me of like quests that you get in other games. You know, go kill 200 boars for the sake of killing 200 boars to get a shiny reward at the end.
Well, that's not a bad thing at the end of the day if it means people are logging in and they're actually kind of doing stuff, because at the end of the day, you know, if there's people not online doing things, then there's not stuff for PvPers to hunt, there's not people doing dumb stuff, because we know all the big things generally tend to happen.
Dumb stuff.
When people do some dumb stuff, exactly.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's something as well that you, as I say, you can turn around and say to your friends, let's log in and do this together. You know, if we do it together, we can do it in half the time, kind of thing. So on that aspect, yeah, it's good. It's also something nice for, like, you know, newer players that may not know about EVE's depth of things that they can do. That, you know, they can create it as an arbitrary goal for them to try something out, and then they might discover something else that they enjoy doing along the way.
I tell you what, actually, that was one thing that I experienced earlier this week, because, you know, as we all do, we have our alts that go about and do things. And I was messing around on one of my high sec tunes, and this person said, hello. And me being a bit of a bitter vet was kind of, who the hell are you? I'm not paying attention to you. Don't care. Go away. Bother somebody else. So ignored them. And then they replied, can you help me? And I'm like, okay. So I checked out the guy's profile. He'd been playing for less than a month, like 2 or 3 weeks. He was in a corp that didn't really seem that big and didn't really seem all that active. I was kind of, okay, so, well, and let's see what this guy wants. So I've done it, and he's literally just a new guy that's logging in, running missions with no real goal other than to earn money, so he can buy a bigger ship to get into level 4s. But once he runs out of that goal, then what is there to do? You know, what is there? What is the press button collect bacon, other than just to gain this fit out a faction fitted or an officer fitted level 4 mission running ship, and then losing it to a bunch of gankers?
You say that,
especially when the corp and things here is not very active, and he's not getting exposed to the community that helps drive this stuff.
This is what I was going to say. I mean, like, you know, take your example of, like, your typical mission runner. So say he gets to level 4s, he's finished level 4s, he doesn't really want to do level 5s because of kind of the risk that's involved with them. So maybe he ends up doing incursions, for example. But you're quite right, it's the game kind of lacks sometimes a bit of direction in terms of, if you're not part of a corp or you're not part of a community that gives you that direction or, you know, hints where to go next, something like this is pretty ideal as well.
So, moving on the subject, something else hit the test server. Now, you're probably not going to be able to read this info on screen. The Vanquisher blueprint is here. Now, actually, why am I showing this on stream? I'm on the test server. I could probably find this myself.
Wow.
Let me reload that back up so I can actually spell it correctly. It might also be a good start. But the Vanquisher is a brand new faction titan, which is something that faction capital ships is something that everybody's kind of been asking for a long time, but the meta of EVE has not really allowed that, if that makes any sense. The meta of capital ships were at a point where they didn't allow like specialized variants of capital ships. Now they've completely reworked, and they're kind of more like the lower ship classes in terms of how you fit them and how you use them. Then it seems to be able that now that it can use these things. Now, these were originally glimpsed back at FanFest, weren't they?
Yeah, they were unveiled to the crowds at FanFest as some quite crazy stats on the ships. It did kind of came up in the Capitals Roundtable as well. If it's something that we'd end up seeing, perhaps like Tech 2 variants of some capital ships in the future as well, which is an interesting idea, because it does mean that you'd have to have specialized capital ships.
That's a pretty scary thought, to be fair.
Indeed.
That is like a really scary thought. But here we go, Vanquisher. So let's have a look at this puppy, shall we? apparently we can't.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because the image viewer is broken. I can't rotate it.
You should be able to look at traits and things, though. Oh,
Yeah. Look at that, it's completely busted.
Yeah, it's because it's got a slightly different model, that's why.
So, let's have a look. How has it got a slightly different model? I haven't noticed any difference.
The turret system on it, because it's got increased damage to turrets, it has a reduced number of turrets. So the way the turret points are on the model is slightly different.
Ah, I see. So, if we have a look at this thing, I mean... let me increase my UI so everybody can see that on stream. Close window. There we go, that's better. Look at that. 5% bonus to capital hybrid turret rate of fire. 6 bonus to warp core strength. Mimitar Titan bonus. 10% bonus to stasis web of fire effectiveness. That is really scary.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a webbing Titan. What's not scary about that, really?
Well, you land, you go, "Hi, Titan." Oh no, I'm webbed. I can't really move. And oh crap, there are the guns.
You go, "Whoa, why is this thing webbing me?" First of all,
it's fantastic stuff. But what's the warp core strength bonus on a Erebus? Because I think this actually has more warp core strength, which is quite impressive.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, especially they're faction ships at the end of the day, so they're going to have not only they're going to have special traits, but they're also going to have enhanced attributes.
Fantastic stuff. So looking forward to that. If we have a look at the industry stuff, the Vanquisher blueprint. Let's see, viewing industry. Here we go. 260 billion-isk in materials. Holy crap. That's expensive. And that doesn't include these Serpentis modified capital microprocessors. What are these?
So with the new capital NPCs that have also been introduced to the game, they now have specialist loot tables. So I'm guessing one of the salvage items that you probably get, or one of the lootable items from some of the new capital NPCs, are exactly what you've got on screen.
Brilliant stuff. That is a lot of microprocessors. I wonder how many dreadnoughts you're going to have to kill to get all of them. That's a lot. But yeah, I mean, so we're probably looking at this thing costing well in excess of maybe 300 billion-isk, maybe 400 billion-isk, which would kind of scale with the cost of Titans versus faction ships anyway.
Isn't it funny how Eve's economy that's forever growing is just growing larger and larger and more expensive and more expensive? You know, you thought a 700 billion-isk Citadel was going to be, you know, pretty risky, but let's just make some really expensive ships as well.
Well, remember, CCP Fozzie and that said they don't expect people to build the Palatine Citadel.
It will happen before FanFest.
It will happen at some point. It will happen. And
yep.
I'm wondering whether these skins they've got for the pods are like, hey, somebody built one. Skins for all the people in the corp.
Don't you know it?
Yeah, it's probably going to be that. Some other little bits and pieces that have appeared on the test server. We've got, if you can see this image, this is a tactical display with a thorax in the middle there, and you can see the old point. There's a vector line there. It's showing you the direction that that ship is travelling in. So I'm going to find on here, if I can't see it on the server. Let's go to an asteroid belt, see if I can't see some rats. See if we can't find... Let's turn on the tactical overlay. I quite like the new tactical overlay.
Yeah, it's really nice. The way it kind of gives you without overwhelming the screen, it gives you a better idea of distances from targets, which is really nice. And that kind of range indicator it's something that existed previously, but it was kind of displayed in a bit of a funky way, whereas now it looks really nice.
I mean, if you look at that, like the range indicator, you can see where my optimal range is versus my fall off. Yeah, that's great stuff. Oh, look, there you go. You can see the vector indicator. Just on the front of my ferrex there. It's like a little arrow. That's
Direction you are warping.
I know. Look, and as I move around, it moves and it grows larger. That's cool stuff, but there's no...
I wonder if that is actually for... So do you know you can kind of tell fighters to go from a particular point in space?
Yes.
I wonder if you're going to be able to set up waypoints for your ship.
Maybe. It makes sense. I mean, certainly when you're in a carrier and you're remotely viewing something from a range, it gets really hard to see where things are travelling. Or groups of things are travelling. So I can imagine this will really, really help out those sort of players. But it's also, I think it's very, very useful for the solo PvP or the small gang PvP, because you go in, you try and tackle something. Oh, here's some rats. Here we go. You try and tackle something, and you're trying to see what way they're travelling, what way they're moving. So let's have a look at these guys. Sitting still, doing nothing. Peaceful, serene. Let's shoot one of them. This dude's moving. In fact, they're all moving now. Look at that. Yeah, and you can just see the little arrows in front of them, extending outwards as they're going in. This guy can see exactly what direction he's moving in.
I think it's going to help as well when you're trying to.
Oh, hello! What's that?
Have alignment of guns.
Did you see that?
It hasn't loaded on the stream yet.
Like when I'm shooting the rat and killing one of them, it's actually coming up with green text to tell me how much disc I got.
Oh yeah.
There's another one.
Status updates.
12k ISK added to it. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit of an information overload. I think they could do with separating some information or text like that. Don't get me wrong, it's certainly nice to have all the information.
I'm using totally the wrong ammo for this. I should be using antimatter.
They're belt rats. I think you'll get away with it. Don't think you can expect someone to come in and try and gank you.
Not on the test server, at least, anyway. 80,000 ISK, thank you very much. I don't know, I kind of like it. It's giving kind of that tactile feedback of the fact that you know, here you go, you black rat, here's your bacon.
Yeah, I think it can be it could end up being a bit overwhelming with the information you're being given. I mean, part of me is kind of like how much you notice the type of damage that you're dealing, or the number of the damage you're dealing. Normally, you kind of pay attention to the damage you're receiving and if you're actually hitting.
That is very true. I quite like it. It's a nice touch.
Indeed.
So I'm just going to say screw you in your opinion. Let's head back.
This is why Eve has tick boxes.
Exactly. CCP have been really, really good recently with like saying, hey, here's a new feature, but if you don't like that new feature, here's a tick box for you to remove it. So I kind of like that.
And now your features have features.
Yeah, exactly. And then somebody else new comes along and goes, oh, look at all these things. Oh, I could actually turn them off. Or I did not know this feature existed because I never had the tick box checked. Sort of thing. Yeah.
And then some random patch in the future, they manually turn everything on. They check all your tick boxes.
Like the capital navigation window.
So many people don't know that thing exists.
I know. It's like because it's on some weird hotkey, but if you go into general settings, find that, and you fly capital ships a lot, it tells you all the systems that are within jump range and have beacons on them. It's amazing stuff. Let's dock in the system inside the Spin Master. The Spin Master 9000. I still love that name.
It's a pretty good name.
I still love the docking animation. And the reflective lighting and everything else. A lot of people have been saying that, oh no, I don't like it because it's going to interfere with me doing stuff on the docking station. Well, oh, hello. There's a manticore near me. It's a goon manticore. Ah, lol. But if I dock up again...
It doesn't stop people using commands while it's actually...
No, exactly. Like, I can do that. And I can still do this. And I can still switch ships, so... You know, I don't think that's a big deal. I kind of like the way the light kind of goes, here is your ship. I'd probably like the lights to be a little bit brighter, but...
Again, that's something that's been changed on 60 is the fact that all the station interiors now have been V5'd. It's shiny.
Shiny. What other updates have we got? So we talked about that. We've talked about that. Did that last week. Some mid-grade Asclepians. Oh, Asclepian. These are the new implants. Have you seen these implants? They're basically like crystals, but for armor.
Hooray!
About bloody time as well.
Indeed.
Holy cow. Let's have a look. Why is the market not working? Region.
Yeah, there's funny filters.
There we go. Right, here we go. So if we go into implants. There we go. How do you pronounce that? Asclepian? Asclepian. I'm going to go with that. That seems like the most logical thing to do. So, the officer's primary effect, 4% bonus to perception, 1% bonus to armor repair amount, 15% bonus to the strength of all Asclepian implants. Secondary effects has no effect on capital size modules. No. So no massively boosting armor repping titans and stuff. That's a bit sad.
So Asclepius, just for little people that randomly might be watching, for when you have the medical symbol and you have the rod with the snake that goes around the rod, it's the actual name of the snake.
There you go. Which kind of makes sense because these are Serpentis.
There you go.
Implants. Well, I like it.
Ah, you see, synergy.
So the beta gives you a 2% bonus to amount. I'm guessing the delta gives you 4. Yes. The epsilon gives you 5. The gamma gives you 3. Okay. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the omega gives you the 50% bonus. Oh, wow.
Sweet.
So that is massive. That is a huge bonus. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5 equals times that by 1.5. So that's a 63% bonus if you have a full set of high-grade Asclepian implants. That's a massive bonus.
That's not bad at all.
And if you look at this, they drop in high sec.
Hurrah!
So,
they're going to be from escalations, and they're going to be from scan down sites as well, I imagine.
Yeah, it looks like similar to how they did the Garistas event and the other events. These will be the sites, the shipyard research sites that spawn, so it should be quite good. And look, there's the Serpentis modified capital Ujamuth flip thingy, majiggy.
The components from the research sites as well. Yeah,
for the capital ships, fantastic stuff.
That, for that sort of volume of components, it suggests to me that they're actually going to be almost permanent or semi-permanent sites as well.
Well, they'll have to be
just evented ones like what we've seen previously.
I mean, they'll have to be, I think, or at least there will be a constant event of some description. Because I think on the thing it said there's going to be 52 days. So it's like there's probably these events are probably going to run for about 3 months at a time. So they're going to have to keep running events like this every 3 months in order to do it, I think. Which...
But can you imagine it though? It's going to be a significant loss if you manage to get enough components to build a Vanquisher. and then for X amount of months that they decide not to run it, you're building the ship for that duration. Then you have the only ship, and you can have the only ship for say 6 months, for example, and then the event runs again.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that's all the things that come through on the test server. Again, you can keep up to date on what's happening with EVE Online updates by going to updates.eveonline.com. It's a great website that's updated regularly. It's had a whole host of updates stretching through. It even has some of the bigger player events that are coming up over the next few months as well. I've already badgered Nash to make sure that Nottingham's on there too. But in the meantime, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a quick break, and I'm going to show you a video by one of the Eventy staff. His name is Reloaded, and this is the Z-Kill Guide to the Incursus. So let's hope you enjoyed this one.
The Incursus, or the Javelin, is a T1 frigate that is overshadowed by its fellow brother the Tristan. Here I will show you why only badasses use the Incursus. The Incursus is arguably one of the strongest brawlers in the Tech 1 frigate line, but gets shafted because of its low range and its slot layout is trash. There are two ways of fitting your Javelin missile: being a pussy and using rails, or being a man and using blasters. If you're flying the rail Incursus, fly it like a firetail, keep range between 6 to 10 kilometers and load antimatter, then laugh as people think that you are dual rep fit. Do not fit dual rep, especially in faction warfare, as you will get kite to death by everything. People think dual rep is good because it can tank everything. They are wrong. The Incursus has okay speed for its class and has good agility like Japanese sports car. The blaster variation is my personal favorite. It follows the same style of all blaster ships, wrecking people's dreams the closer it gets. If you fly the blaster version, make sure you load null ammo, otherwise it's a quick trip back to station in your pod. This is your default ammo type. If there is a ship slower than you, then you load antimatter and face melt him with 240 DPS. If it's a destroyer you're up against, then load Void and prepare Uranus, because one of you ain't coming out the Plex alive. This is how you fit your pocket cannon. You fit light neutron blasters, 1mm afterburner and scram web. Then you fit a plate because lol buffer, AAR, adaptive nano plating and a mag stab. For rigs, I use dual nano pumps for extra rep, but in hindsight, do whatever you fucking want. Now you know how to properly fly the Incursus. Now go out there and face melt people with your blasters.
And there we go, we're back again.
That was fantastic.
I love that. It's so much fun. Japanese sports car. But it's true. The Incursus is like such an agile little ship, and everybody fits dual rep to it. So next time I decide to go out in faction warfare space, I'm going to be trying that out. But now we're going to talk a bit about Eve Valkyrie. This is something that you're an expert on. I am a total idiot when it comes to Valkyrie. All I ever do is log on and watch you guys play it. So you're kind of kind to have to talk to me about it. We've already talked a little bit about your stream, but tell us a bit about how you found starting off in Eve Valkyrie and how you started developing your skills from there.
So, I mean, Eve Valkyrie was a game that I picked up from the very first FanFest that it was shown at, when they did it in the Unity engine, and they did it on the initial DK1s for the Oculus Rifts. Played it from then, and pretty much every CCP attended event that they were demonstrating it on, I was going out of my way to make sure I actually gave the game a go. I really enjoyed playing it. From the perspective of an Eve player, it was really cool to be able to be like a little fighter in the midst of a big battle. For example, the mission that we're all shown is the Esmes 3 mission, which is actually one of the Chronicles you can play in the game. But it was really cool to be able to fly in and out of the combat as it was going on, and really drew me to the game. So you know, have that old saying of, you know, people don't ever buy a console for that one game. But I went out my way and actually ordered the Rift for the one game that was Valkyrie.
Yeah, but it's not just a console though, is it? It was the computer and everything else.
I mean, yeah. When the Rift specs came out, you needed at the time a like £1,000 PC to be able to support the Rift. So it was a £1,000 PC and then like a £600 or £700 headset to be able to play the game. So you needed like £1,700 to invest just to play the game. And then, of course, they actually turned around and said that, don't worry, you won't have to pay the £50 to actually purchase the game. We'll bundle it in for you with their headset as well. So that was a nice thing. I mean, a lot of people that are playing Valkyrie today were kind of a bit hesitant in terms of if they were going to pay £50 for the game, they might not, because a lot of people compare it to Elite Dangerous, which is kind of in the same price bracket. And the only genre beyond that it shares is that it's in space. But beyond that, they're both two completely different games.
They are very, very different games, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, Valkyrie is very, very arcadey. You know, it's a 10-minute game. You undock, you kill people, you end the game. In Elite Dangerous, you undock, you spend 6 hours flying across the galaxy, find a planet that hasn't been found before, and then you spend 6 hours flying back. You know, they're two completely different types of games. But I mean, the nice thing in Valkyrie is obviously it is in the EVE universe, so you have that instant connection if you're an EVE player of, you know, you're flying around the battlefield, and I still do it from time to time. You've probably even seen me in the stream do it, where you kind of look around the battlefield and go, oh, wow, look, that's the remains of an Ix, or that's the remains of an Apple.
Well, yeah, that was it. You're flying on one particular map, and there's like literally an entire fleet out, you know, mining away with a raw core and all sorts of things, and then there's shipyards with all sorts of dreadnoughts and all sorts of awesome things.
That is one of the real nice features I found while playing Valkyrie. I mean, the level you're talking about there, first of all, was Forge. It's you're basically undocking from so the ship you always undock from are two Wyverns, two super carriers from EVE. They've been modified and are launching Valkyrie in Valkyrie, and you're launching into a ongoing mining operation. There's a mining outpost and two raw cores in the site. And the raw cores themselves also have orcas that are docking with them, removing ore and then flying out of the map. But they also have like the mining frigates, and they have mining barges also warping to them and flying to them. They don't care the fact that they're Valkyrie there. Pretty much how EVE players are to like normal in terms of lore, in terms of like the rest of the universe. They don't give a crap about anyone else. So the mining barges, the orca, they'll just fly straight from the outside of the map into where they need to at the raw call, and then fly out again. If there's any Valkyrie in the way, you're going to get mowed down. You need to move out of the way. It is one of the real nice features because, yeah, I mean, it's really cool because, like, the raw calls, for example, on that map are deployed, and as you may have seen in the game, when they're deployed, they've got like lots of little bulkhead type things that are kind of pointing out the side of them. You can weave in and out them. You kind of get to know, you know, you look at the ship in EVE and you can see it up to a certain detail. You look at it in Valkyrie and you get it up to like, you know, your hand in front of your face detail. You learn where every nook and cranny is in that ship.
It's obviously something you can't learn by looking at the ship models in EVE, is it?
Yeah, there's a limited amount of detail in EVE, whereas in Valkyrie, when they've been converted into the models that you see in Valkyrie, you know, where there's like, I don't know, an airlock on the ship, you can kind of dive in that little area when you're flying in your Valkyrie ship. It's a really nice little feature. The second level you were talking about there was shipyards, where it's actually an ongoing construction effort by the Guristas, and they're constructing a fleet of actually the Kaldari ships, but they're all tagged with the Guristas logo. So like
spoilers, faction capitals free, maybe Guristas ones. Oh,
you know, you see a phoenix flies off while the fight's going on. You know, there's a bunch of rattlesnakes that are being built and that fly off during the matches going on. And or while you're fighting in there, you know, you kind of have to keep a constant mindset that, you know, you're in the middle of a shipyard and things are going to be flying out and flying in, and you could get mowed down at any moment if you're not paying enough attention. It's quite entertaining to really, you're not expecting it sometimes, and you could be on a real great killing spree, and then all of a sudden you get plowed down by something as it kind of flies by.
Fantastic stuff.
But
Valkyrie has got some updates coming out over the next couple of weeks, which is his first serious updates, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing that was advertised big time at FanFest, which is Carrier Assault, which is basically 2 carriers come into a particular map, as per usual, the normal game, except it's a kind of control match. The control match is, I think, similarly to like King of the Hill type modes in the games, where there's points on the maps. You fly one of your Valkyrie ships to one of these points, you deploy a drone, the drone starts capturing the point. While your drone's capturing the point, you try and kill the enemy while they're there, or they try and kill you, so on and so forth. And once you've captured the points, the shields on the carriers go down. Now, once the shields on the carriers go down, they have their own point defense systems. Okay, we're taking a little bit of a liberty here with the ship difference between Valkyrie and Eve, but hey, it's part of the entertainment and the arcadey feel of the game. But anyway, it has point defenses, so it actually has several turrets across the ship, which defend the actual vessel from any Valkyrie that wants to try and attack the ship. You get a limited time frame.
Definitely some liberties there for on the old design, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean,
point defense of the Wyvern.
Yeah, it's kind of explained. Or I say it's explained. It's hinted to at the start of the game. Like the Wyverns that you see in the game are different to the Wyverns that you see in Eve. The launch tubes are specifically designed on these Wyverns, whereas in Eve, obviously, they're not. I mean, I made the point on the forums, amusingly, with like Carrier Assault coming up, with Eve's ship crew guidelines, for example, every Wyvern would have 1,500 people on it. And if you're killing, say, 5 Wyverns in a day, after a year, you kill the equivalent population of the United Kingdom. So... Holy. Yeah. One of the devs turned around and said, maybe we have slightly reduced crews on these. You're not mass murdering people. But yeah, you had anyway, going back to the carrier. So you have point defense weapons that pop up, little turrets. The Valkyrie players can then kill these turrets. And while the shields are down on the carrier, its core is exposed. And you can do... To coin a particular movie, you can do a trench run on the carrier, where you fly along a particular trench, and once you get to there's kind of like defensive points along the way, so there's turrets above and below on the trench, and there's like blast doors along the way, so you kind of have to weave in and out a little bit as well. But there's an energy core at the end, and if you blow it up, you blow up the carrier as well. It doesn't end the game there. You also then have to kill the remaining Valkyrie that are in space, so there's that as well.
Stuff.
We had this real entertaining moment as well at FanFest when this was revealed, and we were actually having the roundtable discussion, because it was the real moment of like the one universe idea that was initially came back, because you could have the Gunjack players playing the defensive turrets on the Wyvern, the Eve players are the ones that brought them in, and then the Valkyrie are the ones that are going to be blowing up. So it's a really nice little feature, I think. And
so Carrier Assault's coming out when?
I believe it's next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, so not that long to go at all whatsoever.
No, not long at all. I mean, it was also introducing a Carrier Assault only mode. So at the moment, the game just cycles randomly between maps and between game modes, which is Control and Deathmatch. And as of next week, you can have a dedicated Carrier Assault mode. So no doubt during my stream, I will probably play Carrier Assault for the evening just to give it a go. So it's gonna be pretty intense, I think.
Now, but this is not the only news that they brought out, because we have a release date for Valkyrie on the PlayStation VR. I've had too much beer, I'm burping a little bit.
No problem. Yeah, October the 13th, if I recall. So
That's right.
The actual PlayStation VR, I think, launches October 9th. So shortly afterwards, you will have Valkyrie supported on the PlayStation VR. which I think is going to be a really exciting thing for the Valkyrie players. I mean, it's very noticeable at the moment that, given the unfortunate shipping problems that Oculus has had, that there are a few players in Valkyrie at the moment. It's more so on EU than US. On the US side, there is normally pretty full servers, but on the EU side, unfortunately, there hasn't been the greatest amount of players, which it's funny because you can actually tell when rifts are shipping and when they aren't, because of the volume, the sudden influx of Valkyrie players.
I like it.
Indeed.
But
so that's the big thing that a lot of the Valkyrie players are looking forward to, is basically the cross compatibility. We know that Vive support is coming soon as well, but we haven't been given a date beyond this year for that yet.
So, but already there's quite a tight knit Valkyrie community forming already there, because there's a Discord, which I found out and got on. You can get on there as well. So people that want to get involved in the Valkyrie community can get involved in Discord, can't they?
They can indeed. I mean, if you literally search for Valkyrie Discord, I think it comes up on Google as the second hit is on Reddit, which is got a link straight to the Discord. So like the kind of URL that takes you to Discord. You can use it in the browser, or you can actually download the app for whatever operating system you use. So Valkyrie itself doesn't actually have like an in-game chat system. In terms of text, it does have a voice system, which at the moment, I don't know if there's plans to change it in the future, mind you. During the games, if you're in a squad together, you have constant voice comms, so you can talk to each other. However, when you're out of the game and in the lobby, the voice chat doesn't work. So typically, we use Discord for general chatter between the Eve Valkyrie community. And we also use it for actually squadding up and actual team games in Discord as well. It's really good as well because we end up with a few different subgroups on there. So the US guys will be playing in another channel, the EU guys will be playing in another channel, and then if there's enough of us on there, we'll group up and we'll play against each other. So it's a great way for organizing games as well.
Fantastic stuff. I mean, personally for me, I'm really looking forward to getting. That would be a fleet ping. I'm looking forward to the PlayStation VR because for me, it's a very accessible way to get involved in VR. I can't really do the brand new computer that's top of line spec and everything else because they're quite expensive. But the PlayStation VR, I've already got a PlayStation 4, and the fact that it's cross-platform, so I will be able to buy that, and I will be able to play with you and Wan and Quantum Delta, who are all people that are involved. Of course, our own Valkyrie streamers, Gigai as well. So I'm really looking forward to being able to play on a PlayStation 4 and still be able to play with you guys as well. I think that was a massive announcement at FanFest.
It is really nice. I mean, I think AMD recently have appreciated that everyone is kind of the same opinion as well. They've recently come out with a graphics card which is allowing people that want to get into VR, it being less of a steep. Instead of paying like £800 for a graphics card, they've released a £200 graphics card, which is
nice.
An entry-level graphics card, so that people with PCs already, they can swap them around if they're capable. But not everyone is tech savvy, so a very easy thing to do will be, if a lot of console owners, just pick up the VR headset, buy the camera separately, buy the Move controllers separately, and then that's it. They're VR ready. My only concern is with it, at least in my opinion, is that there's going to be a significant quality difference in terms of what you actually visually see. But I think, to a certain extent, all the first generation VR headsets are going to have that. Some of the screenshots that you've seen posted by the Eve Valkyrie guys, they're, as much as we'd love them to be representative of what you actually see in the headset, there's a big difference at the moment. The game output they're working on it at the moment to try and get it a little bit more, a format, a ratio that everyone's familiar with, being able to stream it at 1080p, for example. At the moment, You can stream at 1080p in portrait if you wanted to, which makes the game a little bit weird, a little bit more difficult to watch. But you know, they're working on it. Hopefully, we'll get some cool video and cool streams soon for it.
Fantastic. And you've done your fair share of Valkyrie videos recently as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I stream Mondays and Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, I'm also making a recording of each of the ships that I fly. If there's particular events during those that I want to highlight, I'm starting to try and highlight those videos now. But yeah, I mean, there's a Tutorial Tuesdays thread up on the Valkyrie forums. Every time I'm making videos, I'm actually updating my thread on there. So one of the other things that's happening with Carrier Assault is there's going to be a lot of rebalancing and actually reworking of some of the ships. So I'm going to have to go through probably from the very beginning with all the different ships again. But I knew that was going to be the case anyway when I took on the project, so I'm more than happy to do it. But it's challenging, but it's fun.
That's good. I think that's about all we got time for. We've actually overrun a little bit, but I made an account that we overrun a little bit beforehand. So I'm going to wrap up this show. Again, if you want to find out more information about EveNT and all our streams and things like that, visit event.uk. I nearly forgot it. Nash will probably kill me if I forgot it. But check out event.uk. We've got lots and lots of streams. Like I said, there's loads and loads of streams coming along tonight. But what I will be doing is by saying thank you very much, General, for coming along, just to prove the fact that we are not the same person. We are, in fact, different people.
That is secretly the only reason that this recording was made.
Well, exactly. So, look, no ventriloquism here on the voice, yeah? No, nothing. I'm not lip-syncing here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you all. Thank you very much for those who have watched today's show. If you like it, please do feel free to give me some feedback. My name is Tiberius Stargaz on Twitter. So please do feel free to check me out. Please send me your feedback, send me your responses, and hopefully I'll be seeing you all again next week. But until then, I will leave you with a video called Hurricanes, which is by Serator Music. Enjoy.
Good tunes.
Very good tunes.
Hey, what's up, Eve community? This is Cerule. Come join me and Baba Z in Sin City for live performances of all your favorite Eve songs at Eve Vegas 2013. See you there.
Can we pretend that the hurricanes that I fly are like avatars? I could really use some whisk right now, whisk right now, whisk right now. Can we pretend that the hurricanes that I fly are like avatars? I could really use some whisk right now, whisk right now, whisk right now.
Yeah, I could use a Plex or a ship or some Misk. Anything to give me more DPS than this. Cause after all the camps where I'm dying when I'm crashing, I can't afford all the dead space and faction, and all the clones that I've been losing with implants in. There comes a time when it's way too much damn is. And when you're staring at 50 ships in a camp and you realize you're never gonna make it back. But that's just how Eve goes. You get another ship and a brand new clone. But now your killboard's buried in the sand. Use a frig next time when you scout that camp. So fail, fit, well, cane, 1600 plate, 12k away, I ain't gonna make this gate. And if I don't make that, then my pot'll probably die, and I'll be right back to ratting by the end of the night.
Can we pretend that the hurricanes that I fly are like avatars? I could really use some whisk right now, whisk right now, whisk right now. Can we pretend that the hurricanes that I fly are like avatars? I could really use some whisk right now, whisk right now, whisk right now.
Yeah, somebody told me Eve's just a game. Before I lost my job, back when I got late, before this negative balance that I have in my bank. Yeah, back when I was trying to PvP in small gangs, and back when Pierre would drop you in an Erebus. But nowadays they dropping in Bay Revenants. I'm guessing that if I can make some misc out of hurricanes, then maybe, oh maybe I'll go back to the days before the politics that led to the blob gangs, and back when ain't nobody ever tried to metagame, and back when you'd get popped for showing up in a Drake. But this one's for the players always fighting in the shade. So can I get some misc and a bit less politics and get back to the PvP and blowing up ships? So that's my plan. I'm hoping that one day maybe I can make some isk out of hurricanes.
Can we pretend that the hurricanes that I fly are like avatars? I could really use some isk right now. Isk right now. Isk right now. Can we pretend that the hurricanes that I fly are like avatars? I could really use some isk right now. Isk right now. Isk right now.
I could really use some isk right now. I could really use some isk right now. Like avatars. I could really use some isk right now. Some isk right now.